We always say, life is a race, but for this boy who's with me, and when I say boy, imagine this very handsome, young, 18-year-old, charming boy, right? Now, this boy, for him, racing is life. He's done something off the beaten track with a lot of achievements on the racing track. Now, a lot of people don't know his achievements, and that's what I wish to bring to light on the racing track. With me is this boy who's the first e racer in India to get into real racing. He's young, he's dynamic, he's achieved a lot already, but lots more to come. With me is Dillon Thomas Zachariah. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I was trying to race. My words were trying to be as fast as you drive. Congratulations, Dylan. You're a young achiever, very young achiever. And when I see you, I'm like, there should have been a lot more media acclaim, press behind you, knowledge should have come because what you've done is a wonderful thing. Do you kind of think that, people should be noticing me a lot more often? Do you think so? It is your credentials.
I mean, I try to
Be
get as
honest.
much. I try to get as much, publicity as possible. But on these low level championships, it's quite hard to.
E-racing is basically video gaming with
Yeah.
that steering wheel
Yeah.
thing, yeah? How did that start off, and how did that little boy who's doing all the time pass and wasting time on that so-called PS4 made a life out of this? Yeah, how did that happen?
We were actually on vacation at one point, and I think my brother just ordered a wheel on Amazon, and when it came home, I tried it on for the first time, and it just was natural, I guess, and it was so much fun as well to like kind of experience, especially when you're young. You're in that growing stage of like, oh, I want to drive a car and stuff. So like when I got to try that, it was a lot of fun.
You suddenly connected when, as you were
Exactly. Yeah.
doing this, you realized this was maybe something that you're made for,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. It's kind of just a stigma that racing is not an option, and that it's too expensive, it's too dangerous. Mostly, more importantly, and yeah, that stigma is just there that it's never an option. So like, there's no point of trying to pursue something that is that expensive and that dangerous. But some of us are a little bit more stupid, I would say, and want to do that and take that risk. And yeah, that's kind of just how it started. And also another stigma I feel like is a lot of people think it's an old people sport. I should say, like you don't start
No
off from a young
way,
age.
no way. I mean, it's something that needs to start off pretty young,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
Because the mind needs to be alert, the body needs to be
Yeah.
fit, your neck, your wrist, your knees, every joint of your
Yeah.
body needs to be at the best level.
Yeah.
Tell me, there are a few things about racing that people don't know, or about a racer that people don't know. So, what is it that people think is so easy? How much has it got to do with the mind? How much has racing got to do with the body? And how do you prepare for a race? Now, when you've got pole position in round two of MRF Championship, it definitely knows that you know to prepare really well
Yeah.
at this young age. So, talk to me about preparations and what is a life of a racer on the track and off the track.
So a few points. Definitely one that I want to mention is how a lot of people think that they can just look at a car and look at how we drive it and be like, I can do that. And I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but like it is a sport for only people who can and will push their limits. Like you look at people that look at like football and stuff, and they'll be like, you need to train hours and hours every day of your life to get to that
Correct.
level.
Sure.
But then when they look at racing, they're like, oh, I can just get into the car and do that. Like, what is that? I could probably go quicker than that. But then when you're in the car, you're like, and you realize how slow you actually are. Is when you have that realization check of, okay, this is pretty serious on what they're doing. Um, and off track, it's kind of it's a simple life, just enjoying. It's like everyone else. I'm enjoying life, and yeah, on track, you kind of once that visor comes down, you're like in a different
World
mindset.
altogether, yeah. What made you say I want to be a racer? What is it today that gives you that rush? Is it that zoom, that sound, like when a ball hits the cricket bat and when this car zooms off, there's this adrenaline rush, there's this sound of satisfaction. Is it that? What gives you that high, Dylan?
I think honestly would be the gear shifts. Feeling every time you shift that gear, knowing that the car's got the power underneath you, and just feeling that car want to go every time that you shift the gear. That because when you shift a normal car, it just gets slower every time as you go higher in the gear. But these cars, they just want to keep going and going and going. And I often find like oftentimes on the track where I'm in the highest gear, but the car just wants to keep going, and I'm trying to shift it, but it's already on the highest gear.
What precautions do you take before a show in terms of mindset preparation, amount of sleep that you have?
So as you mentioned, sleep is probably like the most important thing, because you need to be like, your reaction times need to be milliseconds, because that could be honestly be, your life being in danger or not. And so you can't come in with a plan either. That's, I think, one of the hardest things to your mind, is that, whatever strategy that you take, or whatever planning that you take, once the five lights go out and the race starts, all of that can go away, and you just have to go with the flow and make sure that you are keeping your nose clean, because damage is a thing. And it's not like you can fall and get back up. Once you break your wheel, like, you're done, your race is over. So yeah, just you come in with the mindset that you just need to focus, keep your head down, and you need to make sure that you're staying away and staying clear, and not making moves that are dangerous to you or to any other driver. So yeah, that's kind of like everything that's going through your brain. It's not that we can't drink water, we can, but we just don't have the systems in the car to give us water. So like, we're going in for like half an hour, 45-minute sessions in that heat. You need to use the bathroom before, otherwise you don't want to be in a situation like that where you need to use the bathroom. um, and the water, you can feel your mouth get dry. And yeah, a lot of psyching yourself up in the car. I personally don't say what I say in the car. Like, my mom's been asking me, what do you say to yourself in the car, especially when I won the race.
That's A content.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm not saying it. You got to wait till I get into a better car where you can hear myself through the radio. Otherwise, I'm not saying what I'm saying. Esports, they knew I was quick. And they were like, listen, we know you're quick. We just don't know how you're going to be in a car and how you're going to drive, because it's a whole different ball game, especially from esports. It's close to the real thing, but nowhere near the real thing. And when she kind of just said, like, you need to show us that that this is what you want to do. And what they meant by that is, I was actually overweight. I was like 99 kgs, and you need to optimally be like under 80. So they're like, if you lose the weight, then we'll consider it. I've been fortunate enough to find sponsors and find it at a corporate level to get into racing, because as of now, my parents haven't paid a single rupee to get me into racing.
They will love you even more.
Yeah. I think that itself, like, you set your goals. As long as you're not paying yourself to get into racing, then it's already, you can obviously pursue it. So getting sponsors though is really, really hard. There's like 6 or 7 sponsors in total that really sponsor it at a corporate level. But other than that, it's just like, you got to keep your head down. And just hope for the best. You as a driver need to focus on the driving.
Talk to me about the feeling physically, the challenges that you go through.
Feeling the speed is one thing, but you actually, even in the car, I feel like you don't realize the speed as much as you see outside. Like, you look outside, you're like, okay, the car's going quick, but like, it doesn't look that quick. And it's the same feeling in the car. You don't actually realize how quick you're going. We get like a sheet or a graph, and we see the speed on that. We're like, oh, 180. It didn't feel like 180. And feeling the speed, that's a whole other ball game. I feel like it's just so much strain on your neck mostly, and your wrists. Luckily, my wrists have been fine from the
At
start.
the age of 18, everything will be fine. When you come to my age, then
Yeah,
you'll start.
everything starts hurting. But yeah, my wrists have never had been an issue. I've actually had other drivers that have said that their shoulders hurt, their elbows hurt, their wrists hurt.
Because at that speed, you're actually
Yeah.
controlling the machine.
Exactly.
With just your wrist and a bit of your neck stability,
Yeah,
correct?
and there's no power steering and stuff. So like, that car is like really, really heavy. Like, you can't use one hand to turn it. You need both your hands to turn it. But I play a lot of badminton, so like, my left arm, especially in Chennai.
Even that
it's
you
a
won
lot of rides.
championships, sir.
No.
Thank God. I thought I'm sitting with like God sent person. Yeah. Okay. Explain to us what is G-force in terms of its science. I understand that, but
Yeah.
in terms of practicality,
Yeah.
what are you going through in that seat?
So it's kind of just a number. But once you understand the number, you understand how much.
How significant it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, we're pulling like 3 Gs, but what that means is that we're pulling 3 times our weight through a turn, and it may not seem that much because we're strapped into the seat. Like, you really don't feel it anywhere else, but because your neck is not strapped to anything, your neck takes most of the the G forces, and like, you're putting around 40 to 50 kgs on your neck, and you start to realize how much and how sore your neck can get. My first time out in the car, when I didn't train it, I had to take slow laps just to like cool my neck. And there were times where I was going slow that actually prolonged the pain. So then I had to go quick to the corner. I'm just like, oh, I
So you
need to
need to
get out of
find
this.
that spot of yours and more or less get used to
Yeah,
it. Basically, it's
exactly.
something
Once I
get
got used to
Yeah.
it, it's like been perfectly
So now
fine.
driving these four-wheelers on Nungambakam High Road and Pondy Bazaar for you will be like nothing, no?
If I had a license, if I had a
Oh, we
license.
forgot the most important part. Do you think being in India with these conditions, with this support, with this facility, you can actually achieve what you want to achieve?
Um, well, first I want to say I've not been driving for a few years. It's actually
Few
been more a
months.
few months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Huh?
So, I mean, seeing the progression as well, just in those few months has been quite significant. But I definitely, India is not where it's at right now when it comes to motorsport. And you actually often see a lot of drivers, like with a lot of other jobs, they migrate to different countries and different, you know, what's it, continents. Yeah,
Correct.
sorry, continents, and they just
Represent
go
another
there.
country, get the
Exactly.
facilities from there, get the training from
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
improve in those training facilities.
Because
Correct.
like you see the level of experience and level of talent there, and you realize that India's not where it's at right now. But it's slowly getting better here. We've got F4 and F3 coming to India in a few months, and hopefully that'll bring more racing here. So then this can kind of be a racing hub in its own, and that's kind of the goal that a lot of people have. Right now, it's just staying in India,
Yeah.
and because I've only been racing for a few months, I need to make sure I'm at my best while I go on, abroad because it's not cheap, and
course.
you don't want to throw 50, 60, 1 crore into something that you're
Ouch.
not ready yet.
That hurts. Already hurts. Yeah.
I mean, these low level like championships are
Yeah.
not cheap at all either.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
My
I'm sure.
like this was already in these last few months, it's been like 20, 25 lakhs. So, and damage is a whole other thing because the drivers have to pay for damage. So
Oh, is that the thing? So the
Yeah.
company doesn't pay?
no, any
It's
damage
saying
that
to-
you have,
Oh.
like even the race that I won,
Huh.
someone had just clipped my front wing, so that
Huh.
itself just like it's just dented a little bit. That was like 40K,
Oh,
and that's like taxable by like 28% or something like that. So
ouch. Now I know what you
Yeah.
mean by damage. It's not just the car damage, it's
yeah.
my bank balance damaged.
Yeah,
If someone wants to do this not as a profession, but as a passion, as a pastime, well, how would the best way to do this be? Would it be like get into your wheel of e-racing and PlayStation 4 and 5 and all of that? Would that be the best way?
I think esports as a passion is probably one of the best because you can do it anytime. It's always there. It's you don't have to worry about a machine being there at all times, and it's expensive to race. So, this is kind of like a one-time subscription to racing. But you can also go for like a few lower league championships. We have a category here called 1300s, and that is kind of like a fun car to drive. And you actually see a lot of people, a lot of pilots as well that come and race these cars, even though they're going 1,000 kilometers per hour. They want to come and feel the speed here. So yeah, you have these smaller cars that are good for people who want to enjoy racing or get the thrill.
So, what are the few requirements for being a racer? There must be something that these are the basic things you need to have, and then you can follow your passion. What would that be? The prerequisites of being a racer?
So they actually do have kind of a system here. So you need like a road, you need a license, you need a racing license, and the only way to get a racing license for going for training. So that kind of already sets you up that you have to go for training. They train you how to be a racer, what lines to take, how to brake and how to accelerate and all of that. And yeah, that kind of just trains you to become a racer, and you feel that thrill already when you go for a training program. So that's kind of already the set of rules that they have to become a racer.
Have you ever been in a spot where like, oh, this might be that 1 second, and like after you say, phew, thank God, God, you're with me. Have there been those 1 second saves?
Quite a few actually. Especially in Chennai, the first corner is like one of the quickest corners. You're doing that at 160 kilometers per hour, and I've gone off maybe 8 times there. Luckily, there's a bunch of grass there. Otherwise, there would have been a lot of damage bills. And I think that's what hurts more. Like you're just thinking like, oof, I've lost it, or how much damage is it gonna be? How much am I gonna spend? And then you save it. You're like, dodged a bullet. But yeah, that's kind of the mindset. you try to keep it on track, but those moments that you lose it, you're just trying to make sure that you're okay and the car is okay. Yeah.
And what comes in here is the board, the politics, or the politicians, or the management, or the administration need to help here. Do you think we've got the right people at the right place?
For the most part, it's actually not bad. There is definitely politics, but we actually even see that in
It happens
the
everywhere.
FIA.
Yeah.
We're seeing that in Formula One as
Yeah.
we go right now. But it's not. Luckily, it's not too bad. But we do see a few people get away with a few things. Especially there are a few people on the grid that can make dangerous moves, but because their parents are involved politically, they don't get anything for it. Because otherwise, you get fined like 20-30K for making putting someone else's life in danger. But here, they'll be like, it was perfectly fine. And I've seen that in both the championships.
It
now
must
that
annoy you, right?
Yeah.
You can't do much about
I
it.
mean, luckily, it's not happened to me, but I've seen it happen to other people, and that can be frustrating for them.
You know what happens at the end of the race? We have, that champagne bottle
Yeah.
opening and women all around you. That's what we see there.
Yeah.
How is it in real? Do you still have those wonderful women around you and champagne bottles, or do you go back to Bonvita and say, this is what I have?
Yeah, I think if there was women on the track, then it would change the whole.
Be a lot more
environment.
popular
Yeah.
sport. That's what they did for IPL. Cheerleaders started coming
Yeah.
in and running those pom pom things and all
Yeah.
of that. But that made it popular. So this is not the way it happens in India,
No.
does it? Not yet. not for now.
Not even champagne. But we do actually see quite a few women drivers on.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
it's growing.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
say life is a race, and you truly have made racing your life. Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, we wrap things up on a wonderful session of The Drive. My name is Rajiv, and in conversation with Dillon Zachariah. Stay locked in.
This is Chennai Live, Radio Redefined.